good morning and welcome to this week's serving of Mickey Waffles, a Disney podcast where we cover everything from parks, movies and merchandise. My name is Sinead.
My name's Kate. Hi guys, how's it going?
I'm good, KP. How are you?
I'm good. You know what today is, Sinead?
Today's Tuesday.
It actually is Tuesday. You know what that means? It's Special Guest Tuesday! Woo!
And this week we are joined again by the lovely Sandy.
Hey! Spooky, sassy Sandy.
Hi.
What an intro.
Yeah, there you go. Acronyms, what's the word? Alliteration galore.
There you go. How are you, Sandy?
I'm very good, very good. How are you?
Yeah, grand. We're surviving.
I've been
Lockdown again.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been in lockdown for what, nearly a month now?
Level 3 lockdown.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
So we're I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
As Kenny
We're all
Ortega would
pros at
say,
this.
we're all in this together.
We're all in this together. Once we know that we're all stars, and we see that.
So how's your week been, Kate?
Yeah, it's been fine. Literally nothing exciting has happened, I don't think. It's literally just been one of those weeks where I go to work, come home, that's it. Do you know what, though? We've been watching the heck out of Bake Off.
Have you?
Yeah, so I wanted to watch Bake Off because I never usually watch it, because before I would have been like up and down from my house, and it's one of those like when you get like weekly shows, I just wasn't able to keep up with them, and I was like, what's the point? So last year I think I watched like the first 2 episodes and I was like, fuck it. But this year I was like, I'd like to watch Bake Off, and so I was like to Ed, can we watch Bake Off? Like I don't want anything, like didn't want to watch Buffy, I didn't want to watch Angel, I wanted just something easy. And he was like, I mean, yeah, like if you really want to, yeah, that's fine. Can I just say we watched the first 2 episodes because that's how many had been done so far. I went to work the next day, I came home and he said, so I watched the season finale of episode 3 and of season 3 and just like, I think we need to watch the whole season now. And I'm like, okay. So we've been going through Bake Off season 3 and we're nearly finished that now. So yeah.
I love that.
One of the girls, it was great.
just on Bake Off, one of the girls on my team every week, without fail, for Bake Off, goes and buys some form of a cake. Could be like a sponge cake, could be like a cream cake or something like that. But she goes and buys cake to have whilst watching Bake Off so she doesn't feel left out.
That's cute. That's like something I would do. I highly enjoy that.
When she told me, I was like, that's the most KP thing I've ever heard.
But like, they make such delicious things and you're like, I just love a little something. And sometimes like toast just doesn't hit the spot.
No.
But yeah, that's been my magical Bake Off story. And that's all I have to contribute from this week. Oh, my Truffle Shuffle order arrived today.
Yeah.
So I got my pajamas and yeah, they're nice. I enjoy them. They were in the post office for a while. They're like, So we ordered them to Address Pal and it said for ages, it was like, in the post office, waiting to be delivered kind of thing. Like, we sorted your package for like 3 days. I was like, okay, cool. It's sorted. Can it come to me?
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But we have it now, so that's all G.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you? Anything exciting?
I feel like no.
It's just been one of the weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a bit strange.
Yeah.
It's just felt very weird. I mean, the only exciting thing is that I put my spooky bedding on.
Nice.
It's been a good time. I decided that I was going to, for every day in October, wear a different Halloween-y piece of clothing that I own. And I went through and counted in my wardrobe and I comfortably have more than enough clothes to do that.
Wow, what a surprise.
Shocker, right? So I'm currently doing a Hocus Pocus work week because I have 5 items of Hocus Pocus clothing. So we're on day 2.
Clever. That's nice. That's good.
Let's go. We love a theme. We love a theme.
How about you, Sandy?
Yeah.
I mean, this week I came home from DLP, so
Spoiler! Guess what we have Sandy on?
I can't really complain about how my week started. But now I'm in isolation for 2 weeks and honestly loving it. It means I have an excuse to say no to not going to meet people.
Excellent.
You know, it's all good.
Well, I mean, you can't go see anyone now anyway.
Well, yeah, true.
No one should be seeing anyone.
True
Yeah.
that, true that.
And at least you went and got yourself a very comfy Spirit jersey purposely for quarantining. It's a good time.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
called forethinking.
Exactly. So, with all of that in mind, and considering we've all had very quiet weeks, shall we get on to the equally quiet bit of news?
The news with its 4 pieces of segments. Yay. So, staying in, that's all I got. It's like, because there's so little to talk about, it's like when you're writing an essay and you want to say, and because, but instead you write, henceforth, with this, I thought that possibly, maybe, probably, this was going to happen.
Oh dear.
Excuse me. So, first thing we're going to talk about is like the only sort of like big bit of news-ish is that the standby passes that we talked about last week have finally gone live in DLP. It seems to be pretty simple. So the stuff that has standby lines outside of it, they have little signs. So you scan the QR code to download the free Disneyland Paris app via the App Store or Google Play. You add your park tickets to your profile in the app. You book your standby pass for each person. You will be allocated the next available time slot. Arrive during your allocated time slot and be ready to present your standby pass or code. And then join the queue and get ready to enjoy. So yeah, I guess it's like pretty simple-ish. The other thing was that new time slots may be released for both parks at 10:30 a.m., 12 p.m., 1:30 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so they don't, but it says may be released. So it's not like,
I mean, it's DLP.
there's-
It's going to take them a while to figure it out.
So I think the idea is that, so like the screenshot here from DLP report is like for Big Thunder Mountain, it says temporarily unavailable, but you can book it. So when it says temporarily available, I assume it means closed or down.
Yeah.
But then like I assume so it has book. And then when you assume you can't do it, it's like grayed out or whatever. So I think their idea is that they are going to release time slots throughout the day so that by 10 a.m., not all the time slots are gone, I suppose, which I guess kind of makes sense. But the other thing is that you can only have one standby pass at a time. But I guess that kind of also makes sense because you can't stand in more than one queue at a time in real life. So.
I will be intrigued to see if, because I know it was something that we mentioned last week, and I haven't seen anybody post about it as to whether. So a couple of the attractions that are now going to have standby pass also have fast pass. So like, can you have a standby pass for say like Peter Pan's flight, but still have a fast pass for Big Thunder? I assume so.
I assume so because they're
Fast
I haven't seen
passes, I
anything
think.
of the contrary.
Say that again, Sandy?
There's no fast passes at the minute anyway. They're all closed.
Oh.
I'd say that's because it's so quiet though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you get a half an hour time slot. You get a half an hour time slot for your standby pass. So the one here from DLP report was for Crush's Coaster, and their time slot was from 12:15 to 1:45.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly just don't know.
At least
it seems very simple to set up, and it seems very easy to use, which I mean, good.
Yeah, and at least they kind of have this time period now where the parks are that bit quieter to kind of test it out a little bit rather than it kind of going in strong at full capacity, which would be very stupid.
Well, DLP.
Yeah, you know me. Anyways. So another announcement we had this week. So the Magical Shuttle service, which is the big red and yellow buses that you can get from either Charles de Gaulle or what's the other one? Beauvais? Am I saying that right?
Beauvais and Orly.
Beauvais. There we go.
Beauvais.
Orly.
Bilbao. Where you find it, Bilbao?
I don't know. Anyways, so the magical shuttle service between Disneyland Paris and the Paris airports will suspend its operations between October 31st, 2020 and March 31st, 2021, anticipating low demand for the service. That I was not expecting.
I mean, they're not wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I'd say Magic Shuttle get most of their business from people coming from the UK. And the UK currently have pretty strict guidelines on the whole don't travel to France thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd say, like, that's just their smartest plan. Like, there's really no point in running, like, empty buses.
No, absolutely. I can't for the life of me remember what was the name of the company that we would always use.
Huh?
Prestige.
Prestige, yes.
I
Prestige
use them.
hyphen transfer.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. It's a good Prestige, not the bad Prestige.
Yes. We'll leave a link to them in the show notes. We all recommend them. They're good. They're good.
I mean, not that any of you should be going anywhere, but, you know.
No, but if you are.
It's okay, Sandy, you're an exception. You'd know where to be going when you came back, so it's fine. Then, in quite interesting news, the Infinity AP merchandise discount will be increased from 20% off to 30% off every day during the Christmas season, starting November 6th until January 3rd. But according to Disney, some details will vary when it's announced. They won't say exactly what or when, so we just have to wait and see what they're doing. Honestly, this sounds a bit like the Irish and the UK government at the moment.
Well, yeah, it's a very DLP thing of just being like, yeah, we're going to do this, but we're not going to tell you when or why or how. Like, just, I don't know. It all seems a bit bizarre. And then, speaking of bizarre things, so DLP have been at it, like, we've been complaining for years, the fact that DLP didn't have magic shots. And then COVID hit, and they're just like, magic shots coming out the wazoo. Like,
you get a magic shot, and you get a magic shot, and you get a magic shot.
They're everywhere. There's that bloody bellhop Terror of Terror one that nobody asks for, but here we are. And now they've started doing magic shots outside the park or anything like that. Now, granted, you have to have PhotoPass, but you don't actually have to have entry to the park. So there's two. One is you can get a picture of Goofy holding a hot dog, wearing a Goofy hat, and drinking a slushie with a Mickey Mouse straw over on the benches under the Disneyland Hotel. And then up in the gazebos in Fantasia Gardens outside the Disneyland Hotel, you can get a photo with Tinkerbell.
I mean, we love a Tinkerbell magic shot.
We love it. We love a magic shot. It's just a bit bizarre that they have them outside the park.
Yeah, I suppose maybe it's like to promote social distancing, that they're like, yeah, maybe stay at the park for an extra like 5 minutes while I do this, and then you stay at the park. Like, oh, there's another one over there, by the way. So, I don't know.
I mean, we're always here for more magic shots. It's just, it seems a bit bizarre.
I just really hope that when we go back to some form of post-COVID life, that they're not like, sorry, you want magic shots all the time. Oh no, that's only for when we have nothing else to offer.
Yeah.
We have loads of things to offer now, so you can get to fuck with your magic shots. You want us to pay photographers? No. We can only pay them now because we've sacked all the hotel staff.
Yeah, we can only hope that they'll keep them up in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Okay.
I said hope.
Yeah, me too. I hope. But yeah, that's the news.
Yeah, that's literally it.
The only other thing that happened this week was that the Christmas merchandise for Shop Disney / the Disney Store dropped. So all the new 2020 merch, all the new Christmas ornaments and the decks and all that sort of stuff. I logged on around 20:08 because I forgot it was happening. Sam was like, I bought my things. I was like, oh, I'll have a look. I'll see what's there. And I managed to get the new Rapunzel figurine where she's by herself, the Legacy one for Tangled because it's 10 years old, the 2020 Snow Globe, and then the Winnie the Pooh one with the little balloon.
That's very fair.
I did have the Christmas Porg plush in my basket, and also one of the ear decorations. So they've got Minnie Mouse ears as decorations for your tree. And so I had the
very
classic
cute.
black and red one, and I was like, do I really like this one? Am I just buying it because it's a pair of ears? Because they had the Christmas ones, which were like candy cane striped, and I wanted those, but they were sold out. And so I was like, oh, I'll just get the other ones instead. But then when it went to checkout, I was like, I don't think I really want these. I'm just buying them for the sake of, but I'll see if they go into sale.
Yeah.
I was like, if they go into sale, like Redline sale, I'll pick some up. But yeah, I was pretty happy. The only thing I wanted was the 2020 like deck, like the official deck that matches the snow globe. And I don't know if I missed it or if it was never released, but I know they have tons of them in the store, and they like take ages to sell out because they always get restock of those. So yeah, pretty successful. I just hope they turn up in one piece. But to be fair, they usually send them in the polystyrene blocks that they come in, so they should be fine.
Yeah, when I ordered from them last year for Christmas decks, they all came in individual boxes in the polystyrene, and they were all perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited for when they arrive.
Yes.
But yeah, there isn't really anything overly exciting this year. It's kind of just the same Christmas stuff they have every year. But there is a large range of decks this year. I do feel like every year they are really expanding their range of decks. Like there's some really like Star Wars ones this year as well. There's like a Millennium Falcon, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
So when I wander into the shop, whenever that is, to get the 2020 like dated deck, I maybe might have a few looks of the ones in person and see if I might just pick up a few more, you know.
Some happened to fall into a basket, into a bag, who knows?
And then all of a sudden I spent €100 on decorations, like whoops.
In fairness, it's your first Christmas there. Like, this is the year that you spend stupid amounts.
And I just, I love Christmas. So like, I didn't go on holiday this year. Let me spend some money on Christmas.
Exactly, because you would have bought at least a couple decorations and at least a couple pins had you gone somewhere. So.
Right? And yet I still managed to buy pins and not go anywhere.
Well, you only bought one pack.
I know, I was very restrained. I could have been like, oh, if you see something like this or something like this or something with this on it, just pick them up. Just pick up anything and I'll just pay you. But
Exactly.
I refrained.
I wonder what that's like.
Yeah, hopefully you can let me know when you find it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for the news and all of that. So I suppose we better get on to the main reason that we have Sandy on, which is to talk about going to DLP during COVID.
Yes, Sandy, take it away.
No pressure. Oh my God. Like, where do I even start? It was really surreal. Like, it was like being at Disney, but it was like not being in Disney at the same time. It was so strange. Like, it wasn't any less magical. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was fine, but there was a strange feeling around the place. Like, the cast members in general were just great and fantastic, but you could tell there was a little bit of like, oh, this is not normal. It's strange. There's not enough people. There was just that kind of vibe. And like the both of us said that, like myself and my boyfriend said that, we were kind of like, it's just weird. There's a weird feeling.
Okay. And how was it? Because you booked it quite last minute. So how was the whole booking process?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Take us from the beginning. Take it from the top.
this Saturday, it's like last Saturday? Well, the Saturday before you went. So I was going for a walk and I was like, do you know what? I could go to DLP. Like, there's nothing stopping us. Why not book something? So I went and tried to book my AP days. That was fine. I decided we were going to go on the Wednesday. So we went last Wednesday until Sunday. And no problem booking the AP days. I booked them for Wednesday to Saturday. That was fine. Bing, his annual pass ran out and we didn't have time to say renew it and wait for the things to come and then go, because you have to get it by post. So we were like, right, okay, I'll book you privilege tickets. Do you think I could find where to book him the privilege days? I mean, I couldn't do it on the app, couldn't do it on the website. I was like, am I just really stupid? Is it right in front of me and I'm not seeing it? So I jump onto the little chat box thingy just to talk to a cast member. And she was so helpful, but she hadn't a clue either. She was sorry, but just ring them. She gave me the phone number and everything, and she was like, you should be able to do it online, but I'm not sure. So I'm like, okay, fine.
It always
DLP.
It always baffles me when like the main guest services chat are like, oh, you want to do something that's really basic and should be really simple to find?
Having a clue. So I know I like jumped onto you guys and asked you guys, and then I was trolling through Twitter, and then I jumped onto the Facebook page, you know, the AP Facebook page, the group.
Yeah.
That's just really irritating. But anyway.
Where all the gold comes from.
Yeah. So literally searched privilege tickets and someone had put a link. You had to do it through the French website. That was the only difference. If I went to .fr, it was right there, like right in front of me. So I booked him his days. I couldn't get him the Saturday, even though I was booked for the Saturday. So we just had the Wednesday, Thursday and Friday in the park. But that was fine. We went into the city on Saturday then instead, just for something to do. We flew out with Aer Lingus on Wednesday morning. Well, the airport is like strange. We got the early flight, the flight that you guys would normally get.
Yeah.
And I mean, the airport was empty. Like, we walked straight through security. Like, there was no one. There might have been 2 people knocking about getting cups of coffee. 3 maybe. But there was no one around that area, you know, where all the shops and stuff are.
Yeah.
Half of them were closed anyway. Like, the bar was closed. All of upstairs is closed. I think Avoca's open. And, you know, that shop that does, like, all the Irish bits and pieces was open. And the coffee area, not Butler's, the other one, it was open. But that was...
Not Butler's.
Not Butler's. No,
I'd be
Butler's
so
is shut.
pissed. That's the best thing about going to the airport.
I know, I love a Butler's, but unfortunately, no. When we went down to the gate, there was a lot more people down there, just where all the gates were. But everyone was, like, socially distance-wise, it was fine. There was hand sanitizer everywhere. Like, there's no temperatures taken or anything in the airport, which I kind of assumed there wouldn't be anyway. But when we sat down at the gate, an air hostess came around to us and handed us this piece of paper, and she was like, you need to fill this out. Now, we'd already filled out, you know, the government form. So you have to fill out the government.ie form if you're leaving the country or you're coming into the country. But you can do it online. Or they had blank forms kind of dotted around the airport where you could fill them out if you needed to. But the air hostess handed us this. It was kind of like a locator form, but a very basic locator form. It was just typed out on a computer and printed out kind of a thing. So there was about 30 of us sitting there with no pens, no pencils, nothing. And she was like, you need to get this back to us in 5 minutes. So we were like,
let me just draw my blood and write with my finger.
I don't even have a fucking eyeliner on me. What do you want me to do? So they said you have to sort that out yourself. He was kind of going like, all right, what are we meant to do? We're meant to be boarding in 10 minutes. So they were telling people to go back up to the shop and buy pens in the shop.
What?
Yeah, it was really strange.
And you were like, no, fuck off.
Kind of, but they wouldn't give us a pen. Then they told us none of us could board the flight if we didn't fill this form out. So there was a couple of people kind of going a bit mad. But Bing and another guy went and got pens, and then the pens were shared between us because, you know, that's COVID safe. But anyway, that's what happened. And when we were checking our passports and the tickets going onto the plane, they took those forms off us. But I don't know what they were, effectively.
Or like, where they went. What did they do with them?
They just took them when they checked our passports, and that was it.
That's a GDPR flag right there.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
like,
though? Like, the government forms I get, but these ones were just like name, address, phone number, your seat number, and that was it.
Was it meant to be for like contact tracing?
But that's what the government forms are for, because it also takes your flight number, your seat number, and everything.
I probably would have been like, sorry, you need to tell me where this information, like that's one that I probably wouldn't have let it go.
Thing is, we didn't even have to fill in one of those things on the way back, so it was completely different. Like the flight
Wow.
over and the flight back were polar opposites of each other, like completely opposite. When we got on the plane, the social distancing was great. We were all boarded in groups. Now there was about 28 to 30 of us on the plane. That's all. So
Okay.
say me and him were sitting beside each other. There was no one in the third seat, no one in the two seats directly in front of us, and no one in the two seats directly behind us.
Great,
So
that's good.
it was great. I didn't expect it to be done that way. There was a guy in front of us, but into the third seat, so we weren't technically near him. That was fine. Getting off the plane, they checked that we all had our government forms signed and done. Some people had them manually. We had them done on the phone, so it was fine. And then when we got to Charles de Gaulle, it was a different story. The airport, Aer Lingus is flying into a different terminal now because the Terminal 1 is closed just with
Ooh
COVID.
la la.
So we were in Terminal 2, which is fancier and much nicer.
Oh, is that the one that Air France goes into?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that
the
one's
one with all
fine.
the glass. That one's nice.
Yeah.
You don't have to go under the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah, you miss out on the bouncy travelators too.
Oh, thank God for that. I hate them.
Oh God. But social distance wise in CDG didn't really exist. It did when it came to queuing for say your passport control, but everywhere else, no, not a hope. When it came to the passport control as well, they didn't require us to remove our masks to check either.
Could be
Which is-
fucking anyone.
Exactly.
Yes, I have brown hair. That is clearly me with my glasses.
Like my passport is 8 years old and I had blonde hair, and here's me going like now in my 30s with black hair looking completely fucking different, but not a bother. You go on
That's
through their
mad.
love.
I feel like the only thing they ever really check in Charles de Gaulle is like I think they only really check to see if like you've got any criminal records, because they put it in the little machine, and like they never really look at you. They just look at the machine and they're like, au revoir.
We see on the way back we were told to take off our masks. They checked that it was and I'm like, this is a totally different experience. Same
Crazy.
airport, two different experiences. It was mad. There was optional temperature checks. So when you came through from passport control, you could opt to get your temperature checked if you wanted.
Just for shits and giggles?
For shits and giggles, but you didn't have to.
What?
Yeah. There was certain flights, like if you're coming from certain countries, you did have to, but you could opt to do it. We were asked, did we want to get our temperature checked? Like, no, it's fine. We're good. Yeah, and if you did test, if they thought it was a bit high, they would give you a complimentary COVID test there and then. Like random.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, very, very strange altogether. But we had booked with Prestige, the good guys, the good ones, not the shit ones.
Good guys.
That's it. Like they were. I've only used them once before. Had a great experience. I was like, yeah, we'll go with you guys again. Fantastic. It was an absolute trek to the car. I mean, we walked for 20 minutes to
Oh.
where the car was.
Where did he park?
In some empty car park outside that was technically closed. There was nothing else but his car. So that was fun.
Hmm.
It was a bit of a trek, but their cars were fantastic. They had hand sanitizer on both sides. The driver used hand sanitizer, kept his mask on, asked us did we want a spare change of mask, that he had a box of them there. Like, he couldn't have done enough for us, to be fair. So COVID wise, that was actually great. Like, it was quite efficient and clean, and it was grand. When we got to the hotel as well, we stayed off site this time, so we stayed in the Raleigh Spa. I stayed there before. It's a beautiful hotel. Like, it's so nice, and a 10-minute walk from the park. But they have their own shuttle as well, so you can just call the driver and they'll drive you to the park. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
I like
they have
that.
their own cars. You can ring them anytime and they'll just bring you to the park. It's amazing. Makes you feel real bougie too.
Hello, sir. Yes. Can you take me to Space Mountain? Thanks. See you
I'm
in
ready.
10.
Take me to Disneyland. In fairness, you posted like a room tour. Your room looked amazing.
Yeah, it was fucking huge.
I booked a junior suite because it was the same price as a standard room normally is. I was like, this COVID thing, I'm using this to my advantage. The hotel's empty. Their room rates were really low. So I was like, yep, junior suite, why not? So it was fab. Like, I think for the 4 days, it cost us 635 in the hotel.
That's not bad.
Four nights. And that was including breakfast, which we
happy days.
normally don't go for.
Mm.
And they leave tea, coffee, and 2 fresh bottles of water every day in your room.
Nice.
So, and plus they're the comfiest beds I've ever slept in. I mean, it's like sinking into a cloud. It's fantastic.
Nice.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But like COVID wise there, it was great because they had hand sanitizer everywhere, and the lifts they had sectioned. So the lifts to the right hand side were for going up only, and the lifts to the left were for going down only. So it kind of kept everyone moving. They have a spa, so the spa's like downstairs as well. So even in the lobby, you can still go down.
But like, did that? Oh no, never mind. I was like, did that change when you go upstairs? But that obviously doesn't make a difference.
No,
Fucking dumbass. I stood there and I was like, but what about when you get upstairs? Like, do they have to swap sides?
oh God. Oh no, Kate. No, you didn't. It was fine.
I'm gonna mute myself for the rest of this call, and I'm just gonna sit here and just listen.
Oh, I loved that. Oh, I loved that.
God. When we got to the hotel, it was like 11. Was it 11 o'clock in the morning? So like we had the whole day still kind of to go. So we went straight to the park, and we had to collect his privilege tickets. So it's changed as of today, I think. Yeah, I think it's changed as of today, but we had to go to the studios, the desk at the studios, to get his ticket. Whereas I think from today, it's the actual park, unless it's the weekends, in which case it's still the studios or certain holidays. Because why don't DLP make it fucking easy for anyone? But anyway.
Because the park's open so late now, not the parks, the studio's open so late, they're like, oh, well, I guess no, you can't pick up your AP shit there because we don't open until 5 p.m. Okay, go over here again. Yeah.
So ridiculous.
It was quite quick. It says on when you book it to show them the email, but all they actually have to do is scan your annual pass and everything comes up. So they printed the ticket, and we actually started our trip in the studios, which I've never done before. Normally go Castle Park first.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were there, we were beside it, so we just went in. Like, the place is dead. I don't know. I was nervous after seeing, like the start of the Halloween stuff and seeing the crowds. I was a bit like, is it going to be okay?
Yeah.
It was dead, and in a good way. Like, I mean, there was nobody. Walking into studios, people kind of kept either to the left or the right, depending on what direction they were walking in.
That's good.
Hand sanitizer everywhere. I mean, you couldn't walk a couple of feet without coming into contact with hand sanitizer. Like, I thought it would be at the door of every shop and every like attraction coming in and out and whatever, but I mean, they're just dotted everywhere.
Well,
they're beside bins, they're beside toilets, beside doors, they're everywhere.
Is it nice hand sanitizer?
Yes, my hand, it's the Perel. So my hands were fine. They weren't dry. In fact, they were a little bit softer. So
wow.
Can't complain.
Yeah, the stuff we use in work is like a liquid and it's sticky. I don't use it. I have my own.
Katie has her own special one.
I have a special one for my special handies.
Oh, Kate. Oh,
sorry.
God.
Continue. So there's hand sanitizer everywhere.
Everywhere. Amazing. Yeah, and like in the studios as well, it's a lot quieter than normal. I feel like more people are actually in the main park.
And that's saying something.
Yeah. There was cast members, like we were walking past Tower of Terror and they were like, are you coming in? are you coming this way? Like nearly begging you to come in. Everything was 5 minutes. We didn't, like everything was a walk on. The only things like that over the 4 days that we actually waited for was to meet the villains, the Marvel characters, and Mickey and friends. That was it. We walked onto absolutely everything.
Why do I feel like every cast member in DLP is like the cast member on like a Wednesday morning when it's raining trying to open the Disney store? And not right now because they're not doing it because of COVID, but like a Wednesday rainy morning trying to drag someone in wearing a shirt and tie and being like, come here to me. You want it. I know, come here. You're going to be late for work. It doesn't matter. Come here.
I used to hate that.
But I used to love it. I used to just shout at them across the street, being like, you with the umbrella, come here to me. 2 minutes. I take 2 minutes of your life. Come here. Come on. I get fired if you don't. Come here to me. And I feel like every cast member in DLP now is like, come in. Have some fun. Come on.
I feel like that's what every photographer was like.
Oh,
I've never seen so many photographers in DLP in my life.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. But I kept saying to Bing, every time we'd see them, I'm like, we need to go and get a photo. He's like, I don't want another photo. I'm like, yeah, but they won't be here all the time if we don't utilize them. We're going.
You're wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Like in the studios alone, there was that first day there at the Partners statue, there was a photographer. There was one over where the bellhop magic shot was. There was one over by the scare floor. There was another one down further closer to Crush. There was one down at Ratatouille. I mean, there was photographers everywhere. Bloody everywhere.
Outside, like where you meet like Minnie and Buzz and stuff, I don't think I've ever seen a photographer in studios.
Like,
No.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like they called all their staff in and was like, here's the camera, go. It was amazing. Like my photo pass, I've never had as many photographs on my photo pass as I did on this trip.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, some of the photos weren't great, but I mean, they were there. I was happy. It's fine. And then when we went to go meet the Marvel characters as well, that was our first like selfie spot, I suppose, meet.
Mhm.
But I didn't realize there was photopass photographers in there as well. And I kind
Neither
of thought
did I.
yeah, it was great. Like that was a bit of a wait. We did have to wait for that. But when we got in, the photopass photographer took the pictures and whatever. But because they weren't pushing you, I thought you kind of had to keep it moving just due to COVID, but you could still interact with the characters for as long as you wanted. And because the people in front of you were with the next two characters, it was like if they were still with them, you still had to stay with the characters you were with. So you had that bit of time to interact and have the banter, and it was actually great. Like, I wouldn't mind if meet and greets stayed that way. Like, obviously, I miss hugging characters, but if they stayed that way, it would be amazing.
What Marvel characters did you get?
We got Thor, Loki. Oh no, wait, it switched out. So no, we didn't get Thor and Loki. We got Cap, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and I can't remember who was with Cap. Obviously very memorable.
Was it Captain Marvel?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, whoops. As I said, memorable.
You said Cap.
True.
Sure, you didn't specify which one. That's my bad.
That was actually a great meet. That was good.
Do you think the wait was worth the meet? Like how long you waited?
For the Marvel characters? I don't, but Bing does, but he's a big Marvel fan.
Okay, so did you think the wait for the villains was worth meeting the villains that way?
Yes. Oh my
Right.
god, yeah. 100%. We had great interaction with the villains, and they swapped out halfway through, which was ideal because I really wanted the Evil Queen or Dr. Facilier. So, because it was the stupid Gaston that was in the first group, and I was like, no, I don't want to meet him now. Can we move? So I was lucky. It was fine. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, the studios that first day. Like, I mean, we went on Tower of Terror 4 or 5 times in a row without waiting. It was just walk on. Like, the way they load the lifts as well was great, because they left a row in between, so they only filled the back row and the front row, and that was it. So it was quite quick, quite efficient. It was good.
I can just imagine Sinead being like, oh shit, no, goodbye.
I didn't at the front. Absolutely not.
The front is gas.
The front is
Thank
brilliant.
No, thank you.
The only thing I suppose they're missing there, they could have actually filled the empty seats on the photographs. You know the way they can insert characters and like bellhops and
Oh,
stuff?
Yeah.
That would have been really cool. I don't know why they're not doing that, but
You might have been able to, I know it's too late now, but you might have been able to ask, because they insert them at the, like, when you go up to the
kiosk
person. Because we have a Hyperspace Mountain photo with me, Sinead, and Ellen. And the third person was this guy who was having no crack whatsoever.
No.
And the man was like, I will make him spaceman. And then just dragged a little like fighter pilot over him, and he was like, there we go, much better.
oh my god, amazing.
I forgot about that.
Oh,
Look at that. So it's us three and then a fighter pilot. So I know it's too late now, but I wonder if you'd have gone up to one of the people at the tills, could they have inserted just 12 little Tower of Terror men?
now there is an edit option on the website, so I don't know if
Oh.
you could maybe do that. See, when I was there in March, it was still was it Fujifilm?
Yeah.
Kodak
Yeah.
Fujifilm that had the app. So since the app has gone, you have to go to the desk to retrieve your photo.
Oh.
So there's nothing to scan, there's no app, there's
What
nothing.
a fucking hassle.
What a
Oh.
nightmare.
God.
So for the likes of Terror, it was fine because the number comes up and you just quote the number at the till. They find it, scan your pass, it's grand. And then they tell you can zoom in, move it, do whatever you want yourself. But on the likes of Pirates, where they've stopped the photos coming up on the screen and that kind of thing, you have to kind of flick through to find your photos.
That
You know,
is so fucking stupid.
It's a bit awkward. Big Thunder particularly. I feel like a lot of people get their Big Thunder photographs.
Yeah.
Queue if you want your photo.
Oh, that's kind of
Like a
Like-
backward step.
that would also
Yeah.
determine, like, because you know the way, like, if any of us get annual passes, we tend to have either the photo pass included,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, cool, I have it, that's great. But if I was a guest just coming for, even now, and they were like, oh, you have to queue for every single ride photo, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to waste all that time in a queue for a photo.
Yeah, that seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, like it wasn't so bad when we were there because obviously it was dead. But I mean, say Halloween week or the first week of Christmas, like you would not be queuing to get a photograph.
Or like even when it's anywhere mildly busy, like if they go back to like full capacity and they can fill every single ride, like a Tower of Terror, you've got like what, 18, 20 guests coming off a ride and they
Yeah.
all want to get their photo, let's say, because they've got photo pass, so it's included. So why wouldn't you?
You kind of hope they would add it onto the app. I feel like the app has been upgraded so much, like the DLP app itself.
Yeah,
They should kind of integrate that photo pass into the app.
maybe it's coming. Like we like to be fair, we don't know, but like Jesus, like but like they already had they have the technology. Like why don't they just like it's not that hard. Like they knew how to do it before. So yeah. But that's interesting. Thanks for the scoop.
Yeah. So I just felt like that was a bit of a step backwards. And then another thing with the attractions was they don't wipe them down. And I know like that's, very time consuming if you're going to wipe down an attraction before and after every guest, but they don't. Now, I don't know what happens in the evenings or in the mornings, but you are literally like people are getting out of the train and you're getting straight into it. Like, yeah, you've got your hand sanitizer before and after, but I still felt like that was a bit icky, maybe.
I mean, time consuming, yes, but means no death, good.
Mhm. Yeah. With social distancing as well, I didn't have a problem. Like everything was fine. Even say the Ursula show and anytime the parade floats went down Main Street, it was fine. The only time I ever kind of noticed it being a bit awkward was, at the end of the day when Mickey and friends are up on the train station.
And they
Yeah.
look so heckin' adorable.
They're oh my god, they're so cute.
I just
So
want to
cute.
eat them.
So freaking cute. But that's when kind of crowds of people. Now the cast members kind of do as much as they possibly can to kind of keep everyone apart, but not really.
Psst, psst, hush, hush. Psst, psst, hush, hush.
That
Like the
Wednesday
lady on Star
actually,
Tours.
Yeah.
that first day we were sitting around the gazebo and we were literally sitting there watching this cast member have a full-on argument with this man about not wearing a mask. It was the funniest thing. He had called security over. 2 security guys came over and they forced him to go to the shop over by the storybook store, like over that way, to go and buy a mask because he was not wearing it and he flat out refused to put one on.
Yeah,
Why
I
would they
just
not just kick him out of the
went to
park? Just kick him out of the park.
Exactly. That was the only time I didn't see anyone wearing a mask that should have been wearing one.
Were people wearing them properly?
For the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your noses.
For the most part, not really. There was the odd one or two that would have it below the nose, and then when they were coming to the top of the queue, kind of lift it up and whatnot. But
Fuckers.
yeah.
Absolute sneaky fucks.
But I have to say, cast members are really quick to kind of catch people on it and to make sure people kept their distance. Like there was only one time we had to tell somebody to hoof it back a little bit. They were a bit in our space.
Wolf her back there, love. You've got the COVID.
To be fair, like if ever there's a bunch of cast members that are just gonna like not give a flying shit about how brash they have to be with guests, it's DLP cast members. They don't go.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, there's a hell of a lot of them just around. I mean,
In
guest
like the
folk
red
cast members,
jackets.
yeah, just everywhere. And then say down at the hub, like there was 5 photographers there on Thursday morning. Like 5.
Oh my god! What the hell?
5?
You had one either side of the planters. So one was a magic shot and one was a shot with just the pumpkins. And then just in front of the castle, you had another magic shot and then another one with just you and the castle. And then there was a floating guy around just taking photos if you wanted your photograph taken. Like when I say there was photographers everywhere, they were fucking everywhere. It was amazing.
Wow.
Sinead.
I know.
You want to book a trip now, don't you?
I'm definitely not.
Pumpkins.
Oh, but I want to.
Oh,
5 photographers in front of the castle. Like, I just... What? Why is it taking a global pandemic for there to be enough photographers?
I know this time last year we were complaining that there wasn't even one on Main Street.
Jesus
Once.
Christ.
Once have we found a Main Street photographer, and even then he found us.
Yeah, he was like, you want photos? And we were like, fuck yeah, we do.
Oh, it was great.
Hey.
I feel like we done that more than anything else, was just random photographers.
I mean, why the fuck not? Make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
Question. How was it food-wise? Because I'm aware that most places are closed.
Yeah, and you also ate a lot of on-site food.
amazing. See, when it comes to me and DLP, how do I put this? What way did Sam put it? I have like champagne dreams at lemonade money. So isn't that the way she said it? Yeah.
I love it.
So normally when I go, we love Cali Grill and we love inventions and we like to eat. This time, yeah, it was different. It was different. On the Wednesday, we went to Hakuna Matata just for lunch, and that was fine. Like there was nothing different. It was actually open, which was great. That night we went to Cafe Mickey. That was not good. Everything was very salty.
When I'd seen you'd gone to Cafe Mickey, I was like, oh, this will be a treat to hear about, because I don't think Cafe Mickey is ever good.
No.
Only time I've ever had a good experience there was when they used to do breakfasts, and I've had a good breakfast. They used to do like pancakes and waffles, and it was amazing. But no, it was shite. Like, distance-wise, the tables are very well spread apart. The menu was really reduced.
Mm-hmm.
I got a nice starter, but I got cheese, so you can't really go wrong with cheese. Do you know what I mean?
In France.
Hey, that's
You
the
can
truth.
fuck up cheese, there's something wrong. He had soup, which he said tasted like salty water, which is
Ew.
fine. And then he had fish, which was actually good. I tasted his main course and it was fine. I ordered a burger and it tasted like feet.
Ew.
It
Ugh.
it looked great, but I ended up just eating the chips because now it had blue cheese on it, which is fine. I love blue cheese. That's not a problem. It
Mhm.
wasn't the cheese, it was the meat, and it just tasted disgusting.
Oh.
So we just left
Gross.
that. The dessert was fine. Because we both had like, you know, the rum dessert that they do in Captain Jack's. It was very like that. It was basically sponge just dipped in rum.
Nice.
It's fine.
Sounds
That was
good to me.
great. Yeah.
Difficult to go wrong when you just soak things in alcohol.
Yeah, can't go wrong. But I mean, for the price we paid for that, I would not go back again. Like,
How much did you
no.
pay?
We had a bottle of wine with that one, so that came to, was it 92, 93 euro?
For the two of
Right.
you and a bottle of wine.
Mm, no, never
For
again.
some cheese and some rum
Salty water.
sponge.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
So that wasn't great. The Thursday, did we even eat during the day on the Thursday? Because we were having breakfast in the hotel, so we weren't really snacking too much throughout the day. But the Thursday we ate in the Newport Bay.
Ooh,
That was-
yes.
Fabulous. That was lovely because we ate in the, what's it called? Not the buffet restaurant, the other one.
The yacht club?
Yacht Club. Yes. So we ate in there. That was gorgeous. I mean, it was maybe on par with Cali Grill.
Ooh.
Like,
Oh,
food-wise,
interesting.
It was good. It was really, really good. The quality was amazing. The service was great. We weren't sat near to anybody. It was gorgeous. I'd eat there again. And we paid roughly the same price as we had for Cafe Mickey.
What'd you have?
So, what did we have to start? Can't remember. I had a salad. I took photographs of all my food. I had a salad, and he, I think, went for soup again, which was great. And they had baskets of Tuscan rolls. And I'm glad they were given baskets because I hate this like just one roll on a plate. Like, give
Fuck
me a
that.
basket of bread.
And then and I love the restaurants, and I'm like, sorry, could we get some more bread? And they're like, absolutely, let me get you a new basket. And you're like, yes.
Oh, so definitely there for the bread. We both had chicken. It was like a stuffed chicken with like loads of vegetables and potatoes and stuff. That was great. And dessert wise, we had lava cake. It was amazing.
Mm.
It was bloody gorgeous. Definitely would eat in there again.
That's
Definitely.
interesting. Maybe Newport Bay does have some good things about it.
Who would have thought, eh?
We went to the bar actually in the Newport Bay and had a bottle of champagne just before dinner. And the bar was nice. Like, the service was nice. They kept bringing down peanuts and cashew nuts to us, which was
Not stale popcorn.
not stale popcorn. And because of COVID, they're in little bags. So they
Ooh.
give you a serving dish, but they bring down the little bags of cashew nuts and peanuts. And every time we'd finish them, they'd bring down more, which was nice, which they don't do in the Disneyland Hotel. That you just get your stale popcorn and that's it. If you finish it,
Yeah,
you're
you get
fucked.
your get your stale tomatoey popcorn and olives.
You have 3 olives.
So they were welcomed. That was good. Then the Friday, we ate in Plaza Gardens on the Friday for the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. So they've changed it. So instead of like, you know, the way at the beginning when they opened, you could pick your plates of starters and then you could pick your plates of dinner and then you could pick your desserts.
Yeah.
Whereas now you just get a sharing platter for your starter. You pick your main and it's a sharing platter for your dessert.
Can you ask for more?
I don't think so.
Fuck
Can you
that.
ask? Can you ask for specific starters? Because I mean, if they tried to give me a sharing platter that had meat on it, get to fuck.
You had the option of swapping out your platter for a salad platter.
So Sinead, you can just have leaves.
Probably with cereals.
Oh, you know it. Those cereals.
The starter was like shrimp, smoked salmon, one side of it was fishy, the other side was meaty, and in the middle was cheese. It's basically what it was.
No vegans here.
Oh,
And
sick.
I think the both of us, like, I don't mind fish, but it just wasn't good. Like,
Mm.
it just wasn't nice. Like, no. And what was worse was I think we made it quite obvious that it wasn't nice because the chef came out and asked us, was it okay?
And
Like,
you were
she-
like, nah, man, this is fucked.
We done the typical Irish thing of going, yeah, it's great,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's lovely. Yeah, great.
Just
Nice
so
much.
full from my starter.
Oh, that was actually really funny. The main we could pick, there was 3 things to pick from. So I went with veal and he went with the Halloween thing, which was pork, and it came with like pumpkin and olives, which is a strange mix. But it was nice, like it was grand. The desserts were probably the highlight of that though, because the plate of desserts were lovely. You had 4 desserts each. So there was like what was there? There was like a lemon kind of tart thing. There was a chocolate spongy thing. Couldn't tell you what the other 2 were, but they were good. They were chocolate anyway.
Ah, okay. Well,
Yeah, so, you couldn't go too wrong. And then we had a bottle of wine there then as well. But COVID Plaza Gardens, probably no, not.
like I
probably
just
wouldn't
think
go back.
if you're still going to operate quote unquote for like buffet prices,
Mhm.
then I expect unlimited food. And I expect unlimited food of the food I want to eat.
That you want, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that's why I go to a buffet, to have, it's like the one excuse where you can be like, no, I'm just going to eat chicken nuggets, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. The queen of a plate of scrambled egg.
Yeah, like that's the point of a buffet. It's your excuse to eat extortionate amount of like the one nice thing you like really like in the buffet, and not be like, hi, yeah, here's a selection of things that you may or may not eat, and you can't ask for any more.
That night we actually ate in the steakhouse that night, and that was great. But I liked the steakhouse in the village. I've never had a bad meal there.
I didn't know that ever opened.
Yeah, they were busy enough. Like, I mean, the whole right side of the restaurant was full. The left-hand side wasn't. But it was lovely. I honestly never had a bad meal there. So we both had steak, we both had soup, and we shared the Halloween dessert. It's called the Maleficent dessert, but it looks like an Ursula dessert.
It's
I mean-
mad that they don't know what they're doing. Because what was it, last year they had some kind of like,
Magic
Cookie?
mirror, but it had Maleficent horns stuck on it.
that was it.
This thing had Maleficent horns on it. So it looked
There
like
you go.
a jellyfish with Maleficent horns. It was great though. It was really nice.
Was it the little chocolate Maleficent horns?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder, did they order like 10,000 of those when they only meant to order 1,000 of them? And are like, well, fuck it, they're going on everything for the next year and a half.
Probably more, no in DLP, more than likely. But that night, when we asked for the bill, it was actually who we thought was the barman that came down to us. And we stayed there for a solid nearly hour and 20 minutes talking to this guy just afterwards. Like, he sat at our table just chatting to us. It was his last day before he was put on furlough.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Yeah, he was a manager. He was the manager of the steakhouse, but he had previously worked in Hurricanes. He'd worked in Cafe Mickey. He'd worked in a lot of different places. He'd been there since '93, and
Oh, wow.
he said there was a lot of cast members that day were finishing up until December, but it would more than likely carry over to March. So it was kind of
Jesus.
sad, kind of chatting to him, because he was like, "I don't know what I'm going to do." He was
oh,
getting
Oh.
government money, but Disney were still paying their healthcare.
Oh, that's good.
right.
Yeah. But like, I think he was delighted to talk to us because he said it's a Friday night in here is dead. Like, there's no one, there was no one to chat to, no one to talk to. There was no buzz around the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So that was nice. We stayed talking to him for a while. So that was good. And then we hit up the sports bar every evening. So we did.
I mean, it's a Disney staple.
Oh,
I have a
why not?
question though. How many Glowteenies did Glowteeny Genie consume?
Oh, okay. So Wednesday, 4. Thursday.
4. Oh, just on Wednesday. Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah. Wednesday I only had 2. No, Thursday I only had 2. Friday only had 2, and then the Saturday when we came back from Paris, we just stayed on the train and got off at Disney and went straight to the sports bar because we were like, it's our last night, we may as well. So had 5 there. So, you know.
Man, 5 glow-teenies. I'd be fucking swimming home.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah, they're very strong.
they're fucking lovely though. Love them.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree.
I'm just the mad one that was sitting there with a pile of glow cubes on the side of our table going, yeah, no, bringing these home, thanks.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah,
you
fuck
look like
that.
so.
I'm paying
you
for them.
pay
maybe I'll
for?
take them.
They're at least like €3 worth of the drink.
That's our last day on the Saturday. We were sitting there and we were kind of like, oh, we have another one. We have another one. When I went to go and pay for the drinks, I was like, bollocks. Did we really nearly spend €200 on fucking alcohol? Like, what happened? Because he was drinking cocktails as well. He was actually having the sports bar signature cocktail, which is amazing. It's basically a zombie, but it's beautiful. So good.
Doesn't explain it anymore to me. I don't know
Rum.
what that is.
Rum,
Great.
rum.
Thanks.
So that was pretty good. I mean, like, if you could go, I'd go. It's a great time to go because everything is so quiet. And
Yeah.
I felt a lot safer there than I did the day we went to Paris.
Okay.
Like, I nearly felt safer in Disney than you did at home, like going to the groceries and that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. It was well managed. There was hand sanitizer everywhere. You have to wear your mask in France. Do you know, it's not even just Disney. There's an on-the-spot fine if you're caught not wearing your mask and you're not eating food.
Mhm.
So, which I mean,
Good.
they could definitely do here, but, you know.
They don't like putting anything in stone over here. We're too loosey-goosey for that. Should we throw a level here? We throw a level there. We see what happens.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so would you go again in a pandemic world?
No, I would.
Okay.
If I could, do you know what I mean? Like, I was very lucky this time because he works from home and I don't have to work for another nearly 3 weeks.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we live alone, so it's fine. I did have a couple of people ask me on Instagram, would I recommend going as a family?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't. Like, you're paying the same amount to go. You're not getting the same experience, particularly if it's your first time going to Disney. You don't want to go now. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't, it's completely different. But to the likes of us, it was great. Do you know, it was great to kind of get stuff that you wouldn't normally get, like all the photographers. And I feel like the cast members went out of their way to make sure you had a good time. Like,
Yeah.
I've never had a bad experience really with cast members in DLP. Like, you have the odd rude one, but I mean, all in all, it's been fine. But this trip has been the best trip for cast members. Like, the interactions, how they kind of just went out of their way for everybody. It was good.
That's good. And I think your comment about going as a family makes sense because even I was chatting to a friend of mine the other day and he has a new nephew that is now 3 months old that he hasn't been able to meet because of everything that's going on. He lives over in Manchester. And he was saying that, like, his sister has said to him, listen, if you want to come up, like, you can stay in the garden, like, we can kind of hang out socially distanced and stuff like that. But, like, as he kind of said, his, I think, eldest niece is 5 and then he has a nephew that's like 2 or 3 and he's kind of like, they don't understand why they can't run out and hug me like they would normally. And there's no easy way to explain that to a kid. So much like if you have a kid that all they've ever seen is people running up and hugging Mickey Mouse, they don't understand why they can't do that.
There wasn't a lot of kids there, to be fair. It was a lot of, you could tell it was a lot of AP holders.
Mhm.
You know, there might have been the odd family, but it really was AP holders that were there.
You
I
just
don't-
had the aura of like everyone knew what they were doing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then I suppose if you're going as a family as well, you cannot guarantee what the airport's going to be like because coming home was mad. I mean, there was no social distancing on the plane. Like, the plane wasn't packed, but I mean, it wasn't like the way it was coming over. So there was people sitting in front of us,
Right.
people sitting behind us. It just wasn't the same. No. And then they didn't even check. We didn't have to fill in the form on the way coming back. The one that they had handed out, we just had the government form. And then in Dublin Airport, coming back, again, it was empty, but they were making sure you had that form filled out because the government one, I mean, because if you didn't, they weren't letting you through. They were sending you back and sending you to get a form and sign it.
Okay.
So-
Did you, just out of interest in my complaint heavy part of my mind, did you contact Aer Lingus and be like, what the actual fuck kind of shit show are you running?
Do you know what? I didn't. And
I
it's
think
something
you
we
should.
talked about. It is something we kind of said because the two flights were polar opposites. The one going over felt very, like, it did feel a lot safer. I mean, the thing with the pencil and the thing, that was just fucking stupid. But coming back, it was a completely different story.
Yeah, no, even from the outset of giving you forms that they demanded you fill out, but not give you anything in which to fill them out with, and then demanding you go buy pens from the airport, and then people have to share them in a COVID world, not tell you really why they needed this information, not really tell you where it's going or how you can access it again, and then also having completely polar opposite experiences on the planes. Like, that's really, really, really bad.
It's crazy. And I mean, those forms, would it not have been easier to have it on a fucking iPad that's easier to clean the screen in between people than handing out physical sheets of paper and getting us all to share a pen that somebody had to go and buy? I
It's
mean,
like, it just doesn't make any
Ridiculous.
sense. And I feel like that's definitely something that you should just contact them, because like you might find out that they're like, oh shit, did that happen?
true.
Mm.
True.
You didn't know, like you like maybe it was like some sort of like revolt, you don't know.
We did get a text from the government on Monday to say, hey, you should be staying at home. We may contact you.
Yeah, they won't.
No, I think that's a blanket fucking text
Yeah,
sent out to
they don't
everybody.
Yeah.
They don't care what you're doing or where you
No.
are.
No.
But overall, like, did you feel safe?
In Disney, yeah, 100%. When we left Disney, like, and we went to Paris, no. I mean, he'd never been to the city before. We went to, we done all the touristy shit, you know. We went to the Eiffel Tower and, say, queuing for it was fine, but then there was 30 of us all shoved in a lift that was
Nope.
tiny.
No,
And I nearly died. I was like, no, I'm taking the stairs, sorry, bye.
that's awful.
Whereas in Disney, it felt like everything was being watched. Cast members were on the ball. They were making sure people weren't on top of each other. You know, everyone was kind of adhering to the markers on the floor. Whereas you went into the city and it was chaos. Even the likes of the restaurants, we ate in a little Italian and the tables were nearly on top of each other. And it just wasn't nice.
See, I just don't like Paris City anyway. I don't find it like, I've been to other cities in France. Like I've been to Lyon, beautiful, so nice. Everyone's really nice. Everyone's quite friendly. I do just think it's something, because even French people are like, Parisians aren't French, they're Parisian.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, right, okay. So like, I don't enjoy Paris City. I don't like the vibe. I'm not interested in any of the tourist attractions that are in Paris City. So like, I can only imagine then what it was like in a COVID time where you're like, everything's just feeling a bit ick.
Like even like, you know, around the Eiffel Tower, the way you have all of those fucking like people trying to pester you for, you know, whatever's in your pockets basically.
Yeah.
We could not keep them away. Like it was really funny. We were walking just to queue to get our tickets and this guy had grabbed me by the arm and started doing a bracelet around my arm, and I was like, no, like, can we not? And his friend had got Bing, and Bing was like, why didn't you warn me this is going to happen? And I was like, I told you, like, to keep yourself to yourself, it'll be fine. But he was like, oh, what age are you? And I'm like, I'm 31, fine. And then he was asking all these questions that you basically needed if he had my bank card. And he was like, you only look 20. It's all the good boom boom. I'm like, oh my God, can you stop? Like, no, this is really inappropriate. And security did kind of come over and just move them along. Like, I felt very uncomfortable around there. And then after that, we just hopped on a bus and done like a bus tour, but didn't get off. So we sat on it for nearly 2 hours and listened to whatever we had to listen to. And that was it. Like, no, Disney felt so safe in comparison.
Okay.
And that's
good.
literally why the only reason to go to Paris is to go to Disneyland.
Hey.
I mean, It really was. It was so well organized. I couldn't fault it for that kind of a thing. Now, I mean, if it was any busier, you probably wouldn't have the same experience. Like, because we've all seen the videos of the first week of the Halloween stuff, and it did look kind of crowded. People were on top of each other, but there just wasn't that many people there when we were there. So it was quite easy for everyone to stand back and just not be on top of people.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I'd go again. Like, if I could go at Christmas, I would, which I can't, but I would.
Well, let's see if it's still open at Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I have no more questions.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I think that was a fantastic roundup.
Trying not to talk about Halloween stuff because I know we're talking about it next time.
Hey, let's get a twofer.
Next time is spooky time.
So yeah, thanks so much, Sandy, for coming on and discussing a COVID DLP. If you guys want to hit us up on any form of social media, you can contact us on Instagram at @MickeyWafflesPod. You can also hit us up on Twitter at MickeyWafflePod. Same at sans the S. But we all know Instagram is where we reply the most.
And speaking of Instagram, Sandy, do you want to give a plug to your jacket Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, my Instagram is glitterandbows_IRE, where I paint denim. So come get some denim. Yay.
We'll leave a link to it in the show notes. Sandy literally, like, just before she went on holidays, did the most bomb Mandalorian jacket.
Oh yeah, big fan.
I like it.
Go check out Sandy's Instagram. It is amazing. And whilst you're on preferably your iPhone, go into your Apple Podcast app and give us a nice rating and review. We would very much appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Also, P.S. Hi to all the people that were listening to us on Amazon. There was some people
Hey,
there.
we're on Amazon now.
What? Hey.
And one final thing, we mention them all the time, but our lovely podcast pals, Ben and Mikey, have kicked off their Halloween season. And if you go listen to their latest episode about the return to Oz, you may hear some familiar voices. Don't know who they are, but you may.
It's us. It's me and Sinead. Psst. In case you didn't know, it's us. So yeah, thanks so much for listening, guys. We'll speak to you next week along with Sandy.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the After Dark Podcast Network.